We've got new themes for Outlook, and both Xbox and PlayStation had a few surprises this week. Happy Friday, friends! It is a Friday in November, and there's a decent amount going on. You know, it's kind of a busy-ish time of the year. We've got holiday shopping season is like right on the cusp of getting started here, with deals coming for Black Friday. Although every merchant on the planet is already telling us that it's Black Friday deals are live. But they're whatever. They are whatever. It was an interesting week, both for Microsoft and globally. The elections here in the United States, which we're not going to talk about because this, my friends, is tech and gaming. And let's dive into the Microsoft news of the week. Hopefully you had a wonderful week. Here we go. So new generative features are coming to Windows, Paint and Notepad. So Paint is getting new generative fill stuff, and depending on what type of PC you are, nobody will be confused by this. You might have generative fill, but everybody will have generative erase coming to Paint. Now, generative fill is a super interesting thing that was previously locked to an Adobe Photoshop style product, but now that it's coming to Paint, Paint is getting a little bit of a glow up. However, for Copilot Plus PCs, then you'll be able to type in a little thing and get say you want castle, and then it'll put a castle on the Windows XP wallpaper background. That is certainly a thing locked to Copilot Plus PCs. I do sincerely question how much an NPU is really needed and why they can't just do this with the GPU, especially on higher end devices. But Microsoft's putting in my opinion, at least from what we know so far, really artificial limitations. And the reason why I say artificial is because we already know you can do this stuff outside of Copilot, right? Generating an image of a castle, you can go use Midjourney, and there's no Copilot Plus PCs there. We all know there's various models that would do this stuff. Anyways, that's what Microsoft is doing. That is the line in the sand that they are drawing. They should have called it Windows 12. That's what they should have done. But anyways, we got Copilot Plus PCs can put castles on their hills, and us peasants who don't have a Snapdragon chip with an NPU cannot put castles on the hill. So there you go. Anyways, stuff is also coming to to Notepad. It's just generative writing and rewriting and that kind of stuff. So other AI things out of left field, which or whatever. So Outlook users can now generate custom themes. You heard that right. So if you didn't like the custom or the themes that were included out of the box, you now generate custom themes for Outlook, which is when I was looking at the new Outlook, that is the thing that I was like, gosh, I wish they would add custom themes that were locked to Copilot Plus PCs. Oh, and you have to be paying for Copilot, by the way. You have to have a Copilot Pro subscription here, or Microsoft 365 Copilot. And it's oh my God, guys, you can't, if you have two inboxes, like I do, if you have two inboxes in this Outlook, there is no hotkey currently, at least unless this has changed in the past 3 weeks, you cannot change inboxes with a hotkey. You know how frustrating that is? My hands are on the keyboard all day long. I am a keyboard enthusiast. I love keys. I love shortcut keys. I led a team at Stardock. We built a ChatGPT interface that is purely keyboard driven because keyboard shortcuts are so important to the workflow. And yet here's the new Outlook. It's should we add generative features that put custom themes, or should we add basic hotkey support? It makes you want to rip your hair out. And the other things that drive me absolutely bonkers with the new thing is if you are using your mouse, because the keyboard isn't reign supreme in the new Outlook, and you click the delete button. So if you have a list of emails in a row, you have a whole list of emails spanning the whole thing, and you start clicking the little trash can icon in the far right side of the message list. If you do that at any pace faster than anything, any sort of reasonable left click pace, you will end up opening emails because the animations are so dang slow that it opens them up rather than clicking the trash can icon. So if you had 3 emails in a row, you're I want to click these 3 trash can icons. So you click delete, and then the next email slides up, and you click delete, and the next email slides up. You try to do that 3 times in a row at any reasonable speed, it doesn't work. It fails. It's a UI UX problem. And yeah, sorry, I got that was a little bit of, there was some emotional and stress tied up into this Outlook thing, but it just why, guys? The app is just not there. It's lacking a lot of that finesse, especially on the keyboard shortcut side. If you have an email open and you use the back button on your mouse and you're on a different, this will drive you insane. So I have a Stardock email account and I have a personal email account. The personal email account was added before I added the Stardock one. If I am in the Stardock email account, I have a message open and I hit the back button on my mouse, it will take me to the inbox of my Outlook.com email account every time, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you're in junk, doesn't matter. It does not matter. Ugh. It's like these little things. It's like, oh my God. Anyways, just kumbaya. Kumbaya. Anyway, so to get some of the stuff, you have to be paying for Copilot Pro, which apparently nobody is doing. Not really surprising here, because in a blog post / announcement, if you live in Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, or Thailand, Copilot will now be sort of included in Microsoft 365 Personal and Family. And you, dear listener, will be getting 60 AI credits per month. Now, Brad, what exactly do I get for an AI credit? We don't know. Like, is that one generative castle that is on the hill in Paint? Can you do that 60 times? I'm guessing that's what it is, like one prompt out into it. You can buy more, or you can sign up for Copilot Pro and then get unlimited. I don't really think many people are paying for Copilot Pro. Now, I say that with a caveat of I pay for ChatGPT Plus because I find it extremely valuable. So maybe someday I'll jump over to Copilot. But the reality is that you get an API key if you're paying for ChatGPT Plus. And then I can use that API key with the tool that I built, and it's a lot better. And as of right now, I don't think you can do that with Copilot Pro. I don't think it's a thing. And conveniently, by the way, for the people who live in, again, as a reminder, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, and Thailand, who are paying for Microsoft 365 Personal or Family, which is where these 60 AI credits coming, your prices are going up. So yeah, congratulations on your new tokens. I'm sure they are shiny and they taste like mint or something. Whatever, it's going to increase your pricing. I suspect this will be coming to US stuff here in the eventual future. Now, something else that Newen pointed out here in this image. So Paint is being added to the context menu. I should say Microsoft, I believe, announced this. However, the thing that's worth pointing out is that when Windows 11 launched, the context menu was intentionally butchered is the wrong word, but cleaned up, if you will. It was slimmed up. Things were removed. And as 3 years have gone by, Microsoft keeps adding more and more and more stuff. We are eventually going to turn into the old context menu that was in Windows 10 that most people really wanted in Windows 11, but they took it away and never let it bring it back. But they're going to slowly bring it back with their own stuff because that is the Microsoft way, gosh darn it. And yeah, so here you go. And then the most befuddling thing this week, Microsoft had a big little oopsies, if you will. It was little because it was just a little update, but it was big because this is a big mess up. So I'm going to read you exactly what Microsoft has done here. Microsoft had mistakenly labeled Windows Server 2025 upgrade as KB5044284. It was auto-updating Server 2022 boxes to Windows Server 2025. Whoops. If you're not familiar, when you run a server environment, the last thing you really like doing is updating, because if it works today, running an update means it may not work tomorrow, let alone going from 2022 to 2025. Now, you could make the argument, Brad, modern updating is not like the old days going from Windows XP to Windows 7 where it was ooh, that was rough. Things are streamlined and simple and modern. But yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. Do you think Microsoft gave any of these endpoints 2025 licenses? No, they're not giving away Windows Server licenses. This was a massive oops-a-daisies. And yeah, so if you have a Windows Server 2022 box and it somehow got 2025 on it, there you go. Microsoft just did that. Just in the back, just for you. Just for you. Have fun. So, on to the gaming news of the week, because there are some big shockers, kind of big surprises here. So, Death Stranding is now on Xbox. This is like 5 years plus 1 day from when it released on PlayStation. This is wonderful news. If you've never played the game, like myself, then you can now go play it on Xbox. Now, it's not a part of Game Pass. However, it is 50% off right now. So it's $20 or something like that. And everything I've read about it has said, you got to get to the 5th story or somewhere like that. I haven't played it yet. And then that's when the whole thing opens up or something along those lines. So you got to give it some time. But yeah, this is a big deal because this was locked to PlayStation. Clearly, it was a 5-year agreement. And the interesting thing to me is how many other of these deals are out there that are going on that could eventually bring this stuff over. You never know. You don't really know what the Xbox is cooking, if you will. But either way, that is something to whatever. Now, I might end up playing this. They actually reached out to me, their PR firm, and said, hey, do you want a creator code? And I was like, sure. I said, I'll mention it on my podcast. I would have mentioned it anyways, but so they are apparently sending me over a code. And so there you go. There is your full transparency that I haven't played it yet, but they're going to send me a code and then I'll play it. And so if I talk about it, it's because they sent me a code. And so there you go. This seems like a big deal if you're on the PlayStation side. So Xbox gets a win. Well, it looks like PlayStation's getting a win. It looks like PlayStation is going to be getting Age of Empires Definitive Edition. Age of Empires 2, I should add here. I believe in 2025 is the plan. So this was posted over on Reddit. There's a screenshot very clearly showing PlayStation iconography. And so it looks like Age of Empires 2 is going to be landing over on that platform. And yeah, so there you go. Other things coming to Game Pass. We've got Goat Simulator Remastered, which Goat Simulator doesn't feel that old, but it's already got a remaster. But either way, Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 are now on Xbox Game Pass. And something that I missed last week that feels odd, it says Machine Games wants Indiana Jones to run at 60 FPS on Xbox Series X and S, which is great. Like, nothing wrong with that. However, this game is like, at this point, 4 weeks away from release. I feel like this is like something they should know by now, right? Like, I guess, I don't know when they have to, I guess day one updates will ship on day one and they probably have a couple more weeks, but we've also got holiday, Turkey Day here in the United States coming up. So it just feels like maybe they should know that by now. And last thing on the Xbox agenda here, friend list is now rolling back out to everybody. You should hopefully have this by now. Turning Xbox into a social media feed has not really worked out so well, so they're going back to the friend request list, and that is something I very much approve and like to see. So here we go. On to the gaming question, and then the questions of the week. The questions of the week. The first one is gaming related, so we will go with that. Now, spoiler, it is slightly political, but not political. I will try to keep it as neutral as possible here. Matt Bear asks, he says, with the recent election, what about tariffs? How will tariffs impact Microsoft's hardware and cloud business ultimately as an MS customer? It is a wonderful question, and it is a deeply economic question. And the real honest answer here is we don't know yet, because I'm trying not to over speculate one way or the other. I'm trying to stay like in the neutral. We don't know what the tariffs. First off, no tariffs have been applied, so everything at this point is speculation. We don't know how they're going to be applied. However, I will tell you, my brain personally does not like tariffs. I will tell you that. I understand the concept of what a tariff is supposed to accomplish. However, it doesn't usually work out that way, and the end user, the customer, me, going to buy something, typically ends up paying more. I will use a very generic example, and this is the most watered down example, so please, econ professors, do not email me. I already know this is not perfect. If you have a tomato coming in from, let's just say, Belize to Ohio, where I live, and it would have cost $1, but now there's $1 tariff on that tomato to make it match prices from tomatoes from Florida. That means now all tomatoes at my grocery store now cost $2, previously where one could have been $1.25. Yes, you can make the argument that the company in Belize should be paying that dollar, but the reality is they don't. They raise their price to the equivalent of the tariff, and then you pay it and it goes back. Now, there's a million that is not a perfect example. I recognize that, and there's different ways these things can be carried out. That's why I said it's all speculation. So to speculate on what Matt Bear is asking here is, we don't know for cloud customer. I mean, Microsoft has a lot of influence within the government. That is what lobbying does for them. They might be able to lobby their way out of tariffs. We just don't know until they are announced and implemented and effective. We don't know the answer. Generally speaking, though, they don't lower prices for you and me. If at best, and I mean at best, it would make pricing parity equivalent, but that's about it. Mr. PKI, just getting Mr. Chatty. It's awesome. He's got a triple dose of questions in for the week. He says, I saw Death Stranding's director's cut was 50% off. Is this deal recommended? Have you played it? No, I have not played it yet. At 50% off, that actually feels like a decent game. Everybody who's played the game seems like they like it. So if you like that style of game, 50% off, I think there's a lot worse ways in this world you can spend $20. So $20 to get it seems like a decent deal. Mr. PKI says, have you tried the single player on COD yet? COD 6. So this will be Black Ops 6. I have played the first 3 levels. So I haven't like plowed through it. The only reason I think I've honestly played the campaign from the past games is because they used to come out early. Remember, like last year, I'm almost positive last year, the campaign came out before the multiplayer, and it's like, that's all I got. So that's what I played. I have not played the whole thing yet. And his last question of the week, Mr. PKI's last question, not the last question overall, he says, are we ever going to see Microsoft mice again? And when are they coming out? So remember, they sold all that stuff off. They're supposed to be. I was updated by I believe it was the company that said by the end of the year they were supposed to be back available. I cannot, the name of the company is now slipping my mind who bought them, and somebody's probably screaming into their car radio wherever everybody listens, or Zune. I know some people, yes, people still listen to this on the Zune occasionally, yelling into it, but oh gosh, now I'm going to Google it. Google.com, enter. Who did Microsoft sell their peripherals to? Come on, it's going to tell me. It's going to tell me. It says Onward Brands. Is that really it? Oh, I guess it really is Onward Brands. But no, who did Microsoft? Incase is the name. I guess they're owned by InBrand. Incase Surface Accessories. I might be cutting all this out. If you don't hear this, then whatever. Incase designed by Microsoft. There we go. Can we click on anything? It still says to launch in 2024. I believe it was supposed to be by the end of the year was their last update, but nothing as of yet, Mr. PKI. Mr. PKI. All right, back into the questions. I'm now all confuddled and confused and whatever else. Not really. I just got, where's the tab? Where's the tab? There we go. Simon says, have you experimented with any of Apple Intelligence or functions yet? What do you think of them? So the candid answer is no. I still haven't. I was looking for it. I still have an old iPhone. So my older 13 Pro, I think is what I'm on, is not deemed and blessed enough to get Apple AI. So I don't have it there. I don't have a Mac. Although I will tell you the new Mac Minis are super tempting because my wife can get an education discount on it. And it'd be a great way to run Windows on ARM and get me exposure to what Apple is doing on their AI side. Although my infatuation with AI, a lot of it is ChatGPT is like the baseline, and then like LM Studio and playing around with these models. It's super fun, but nothing is even coming close to what ChatGPT is doing yet. Which, by the way, they bought the name chat or the domain chat.com. So there's that. Next question comes from Sean D. Sean D says, "Hey Brad, I'm looking at buying a Surface Pro. Should I wait or should I go?" And I mean, I think he was doing some fun there. I think by go, he means go to Best Buy and buy one. So here's the reality. Here's the feedback on that. You're going to be waiting a little bit for the Intel news stuff, in which, by the way, I don't know if the Intel news stuff, if that's what you're wanting, is all that great and worth waiting for. Here's what I would do. I would wait for Black Friday, right? My default answer always is buy a Surface Pro when you need a Surface Pro. If you need one right now, because like your other ones, like the batteries exploded or something like that, then buy one today and you will be happy with it. However, I would potentially wait until Black Friday to see if there's any deals, because we're only like 3.5-ish weeks away from something like that, and you might be able to snag something at a slightly better rate. Or if you play your cards right, if you buy it now, you might be able to just return it or whatever. Do it if you have like a credit card that does price matching, you might be okay there. Andy D said, both people have the last name Andid. It's almost like Candied, but Andid. Anyway, says, Brad, my Xbox Elite original controller is dead. It is ding dong dead. When should I buy a new one? Well, it's the same thing, really, here. If you need one today, which it sounds like you do, buy one today. If that's what you're planning to buy. If you're planning to buy an Elite controller, go get one of the cores now. I don't know if I would say get the full kit and caboodle. Decide really heavily if you need those back triggers. If you don't need that, then what is it? Xbox Elite Series 2 Core, which is like just the controller, which they feel great. They're super nice. I don't think we're getting an Elite Series 3 this holiday season. I don't think that's happening. I'm not candidly not exactly sure when that Elite Series 3 is launching. So I don't think it's next week. There's been no rumors or anything like that. So I would just say go get one now as you need it, unless you have another controller where you could potentially, again, wait until Black Friday to see if there's any deals and save you a few dollar dues along that same line. Hey, Brian, question. Do you think we will see any Game Pass deals during the holiday shopping season? Now, I don't know if you'll see a deal in the way... I should rephrase that. Typically, we don't see deals right now for this kind of stuff, without the exception of like buying a console. Last year, we saw some, you would get additional months of Game Pass when you buy a console. That is what I would expect to see here for the holiday shopping season. I'm not expecting them to discount Xbox Game Pass. Maybe... I don't know if they're going to bring back the first month for $1 thing. That's the best kind of sort of deal we've seen, given that they just launched Black Ops and given that they have Indiana Jones and other titles coming online. I don't think we're going to see any Game Pass additional deals outside of potentially buying a piece of hardware. So there you go. That wraps it up. Super fun, super whatever week. And there you go. As always, my friends, make sure to keep it subscribed here because only BS on this podcast is me.